Jesus is out of his mind. At least, that's what people are saying about him in our gospel lesson for this coming Sunday from the 3rd chapter of Mark. You see, we read about how the crowds have mobbed Jesus, and his family goes out to restrain him because people have said he's out of his mind. And even the scribes accuse him of being of the devil. Now, I've come to expect that the scribes would be against Jesus, with his disregard for religious laws and piety, at least when it gets in the way of caring for those in need. But Jesus' own family thinks he's out of his mind? Well, I find it helpful to back up in the gospel to get a hold of the context for today's reading. And we hear Mark describe how Jesus has been healing and casting out demons throughout Galilee with such power and success that the crowds have gathered and that the multitudes are following him, so much so that Jesus asks his disciples to go get a boat so that the crowds won't crush him. Talk about overwhelmed. Jesus is afraid of literally being crushed by all those people who are looking for healing and comfort and compassion. And because they are in need, Jesus doesn't stop. He keeps on healing and teaching and welcoming all those people around him. And crazy enough, that includes lepers and tax collectors and all kinds of sinners. Now, perhaps if we were in the crowd that day, we too would have thought Jesus was out of his mind. After all, he's touching the untouchables and welcoming people that, well, honestly, we wouldn't. But Jesus doesn't even blink an eye. That's because he embodies the kingdom of God, the kingdom that looks beyond human judgment and beyond religious rules, beyond anything that divides, so that he can offer wholeness and mercy and a welcome that doesn't just open doors, but calls everyone who seeks God's will family. There are so many ways that we exclude each other, so many walls that we build instead of bridges. And we often hide behind religious norms and customs that have no basis in the gospel of Jesus Christ, the gospel that tells us that Jesus is God who has come into the world, into Satan's house, and tied up that strong man and freed us to be as out of our minds as Jesus. That's the invitation. To be as crazy as Jesus, to practice a radical hospitality, to redefine who is our family, such that people think we are out of our minds, crazy in love with all our brothers and sisters. I look forward to seeing you in worship.